Indian Wells. Indian Wells is the first out of 9 ATP Masters 1000 tournaments that define professional tennis at its highest level. The tournament's complex history begins in 1974, when the American Airlines Tennis Games was held in Tucson, Arizona, with John Newcombe defeating Arthur Ashe to win the inaugural title. But the Indian Wells story as we know it truly began in 1976, when the tournament moved to Mission Hills in Rancho Mirage, California. Two former professional tennis players, Charlie Pasarell and Raymond Moore, wanted to create something that had never existed before, a tournament where players would be treated like absolute royalty in the desert. The tour was scattered, disorganized, and players were often treated as second-class citizens at tournaments, but they wanted to change that forever. The early years were chaos. The tournament bounced around California, moving from Tucson to Mission Hills to La Quinta, never quite finding its permanent home. The 1980 edition created one of tennis history's most unusual finales, when rain completely washed out the final between Jimmy Connors and Brian Teacher. No champion was declared that year. The tournament simply ended without a winner. This disaster could have killed the tournament. Instead, it sparked the most important development in its history. The real revolution came in 2000 when Pasarell unveiled his masterpiece, the Indian Wells Tennis Garden with its 16,100-seat stadium. Roger Federer dominated Indian Wells like no other player, winning the tournament 5 times in 2004, 2005, 2006, 2012, and 2017, compiling a remarkable 73-12 record across his career. Carlos Alcaraz won back-to-back titles in 2023 and 2024, announcing the arrival of tennis's next generation. In 2025, Jack Draper shocked the tennis world by defeating Holger Rune in straight sets. But if you think Indian Wells creates stars, Miami Open. The Miami Open story begins in 1985 with Earl Butch Buchholz, a former professional player who had an ambitious dream to create America's answer to Monte-Carlo, a setting that would make players feel like they were competing in paradise. But Buchholz didn't start in Miami. The tournament began as the Lipton International Players Championship in Delray Beach, Florida, at Lavers International Tennis Resort. The tournament's timing in March, immediately following Indian Wells, created what would become known as the Sunshine Double. The tournament went through more name changes than almost any other professional sporting event, from the Lipton Championship to the Ericsson Open to the NASDAQ 100 Open to the Sony Ericsson Open to the Sony Open, and finally the Miami Open. The early years belonged to Ivan Lendl, who won 3 times in the late 1980s and early 1990s. In the modern era, Andre Agassi and Novak Djokovic hold the record with 6 titles each, turning the tournament into their personal playground. But here's where things get absolutely crazy. Rafael Nadal's Miami struggles became one of tennis's most compelling storylines. Despite reaching 5 finals in 2005, 2008, 2011, 2014, and 2017, he never won the tournament. That's not bad luck, that's a curse. But here's the even more incredible part. No Spanish man had ever won the Miami Open in its entire history. Carlos Moya reached the final in 2003 but lost to Andre Agassi. David Ferrer made the final in 2013 but couldn't close it out, until Carlos Alcaraz finally ended the drought in 2022, becoming the first Spanish man to ever win Miami. Recent years have seen different champions: Hubert Hurkacz in 2021, Alcaraz in 2022, Daniil Medvedev in 2023, Jannik Sinner in 2024, and Jakub Mensik shocking everyone in 2025. If you are loving this video, please click the hype button on your mobile screen and help us to reach out to more tennis fans. Monte-Carlo. The Monte-Carlo Masters represents something completely unique in professional tennis, a tournament where the setting is almost as important as the tennis itself. The tournament takes place at the Monte-Carlo Country Club, which sits on a hillside overlooking the Mediterranean Sea in Monaco. This isn't just a tennis club, it's one of the most exclusive sporting venues in the world, where membership costs a fortune and the waiting list stretches for decades. What makes Monte-Carlo unique among the 9 Masters 1000 events is its optional status. While the other 8 tournaments are mandatory for top players, Monte-Carlo is the exception. Players can skip Monte-Carlo if they're playing enough other tournaments to meet their commitment requirements. But virtually no top player chooses to miss Monte-Carlo because of its prestige and its crucial position in the clay court season. Rafael Nadal's dominance at Monte-Carlo borders on the supernatural. His 11 titles between 2005 and 2018 represent one of the most dominant performances by any player at any tournament moment in tennis history. Before Nadal, Monte-Carlo had champions like Thomas Muster, Gustavo Kuerten, and Juan Carlos Ferrero, but none came close to this level of dominance. The most stunning moment came in 2013 when Novak Djokovic ended Nadal's 8-year reign, defeating him in straight sets. It wasn't just a win, it was proof that even the gods can bleed. Nadal reclaimed his throne in 2018 at age 31, making history as the first player to win any tournament 11 times. Recently, Stefanos Tsitsipas grabbed 3 titles in 2021, 2022, and 2024, Andrei Rublev won in 2023, and Carlos Alcaraz claimed 2025, proving that even Monte-Carlo's magic can crown new champions. Rome Masters. The Italian Open takes place in one of sport's most historically significant venues, the Foro Italico in Rome. This complex was built in 1932 during Mussolini's era as part of his grand vision for Italian athletics and propaganda. What sets the Rome Masters apart from every other tennis tournament is the passion of Italian crowds. They don't watch tennis, they create it. Italian crowds don't just support their players, they lift them to supernatural heights while crushing opponents' souls. When an Italian plays, the energy becomes electric warfare. The atmosphere can be so intense that it literally changes the outcome of matches, with players either thriving or crumbling under the pressure. Thomas Muster dominated the 1990s with 3 titles, proving his clay court mastery on the red dirt of Rome. Carlos Moya and Felix Mantilla proved Spanish clay court depth in the early 2000s. Then came the modern era of greatness, with Rafael Nadal winning the Rome Masters 10 times, though his victories required more struggle than his Monte Carlo dominance. The Roman crowds and unique conditions made every match a battle. Novak Djokovic won 6 Rome titles, demonstrating his clay court evolution. Unlike Monte Carlo, where he struggled against Nadal for years, Rome became Djokovic's clay court proving ground. His victories in 2008, 2011, 2014, 2015, 2020, and 2022 show sustained excellence across different phases of his career. Other champions include Alexander Zverev in 2017 and 2024, Daniil Medvedev in 2023, and Carlos Alcaraz in 2025, proving the tournament's ability to crown different generations of champions. Madrid Masters. The Madrid Masters story is one of professional tennis's most dramatic transformations. No other Masters 1000 tournament has undergone such radical changes or generated such controversy while ultimately emerging as one of the tour's most important events. The tournament's original incarnation bore no resemblance to today's Madrid Masters. From its creation until 2008, Madrid was held in October on indoor hard courts. Champions included Andre Agassi, Rafael Nadal, Juan Carlos Ferrero, Roger Federer, Andy Murray, Marat Safin, and David Nalbandian, all winning on completely different conditions than today's tournament. In 2009, tournament organizers made a massive gamble, moved Madrid from October to May, and changed the surface from indoor hard courts to outdoor clay courts. This decision transformed the entire clay court season, creating a crucial lead-up to the French Open. But the real controversy came in 2012. Tournament organizers attempted to improve television aesthetics by replacing traditional red clay with blue clay. This wasn't just a cosmetic change, it was a disaster. Both Nadal and Djokovic slipped multiple times during their semi-final, creating genuine safety concerns that had players fearing for their careers and long-term health. Nadal led the players' revolt against blue clay, publicly stating that the surface was dangerous and threatening to boycott future Madrid tournaments if the blue clay continued. Despite the chaos, Roger Federer won the blue clay title in 2012, making him the only player to ever win Madrid on 3 different court surfaces: indoor hard courts in 2006, outdoor red clay in 2009, and blue clay in 2012. The controversy forced a return to red clay in 2013. Recent champions include Alexander Zverev in 2018 and 2021, Carlos Alcaraz in 2022 and 2023, Andrei Rublev in 2024, and Casper Ruud in 2025. Shanghai Masters. The Shanghai Masters represents tennis's bold expansion into Asia and the ATP's commitment to growing the sport globally. Launched in 2009, this tournament was designed specifically to serve as the centerpiece of Asian tennis and the gateway for the sport's growth in the world's most populous country. The venue itself makes an immediate visual statement. The Qizhong Forest Sports City Arena features a retractable roof that opens like a mechanical flower, creating one of tennis's most architecturally striking settings. This isn't just about aesthetics. The design represents tennis's modern evolution and its embrace of cutting-edge technology. The tournament held in October places it in a crucial position for the ATP calendar. Coming after the US Open and during the Asian swing, Shanghai serves as one of the final opportunities for players to earn ranking points before the year-end ATP finals. This positioning makes every match potentially season-defining, with players fighting not just for prize money, but for their chances at the season finale. Novak Djokovic owns Shanghai with 4 titles in 2012, 2013, 2015, and 2018, proving his adaptability to new environments and fast indoor conditions. Roger Federer's 2 victories in 2014 and 2017 included his emotional triumph at age 36, giving Chinese fans the perfect introduction to tennis's greatest rivalry when he defeated Nadal in the final. Other champions tell stories of breakthrough and opportunity. Nikolai Davydenko won the inaugural 2009 title, Andy Murray dominated in 2010 and 2011, and recent winners include Borna Coric in 2018, Daniil Medvedev in 2019, Hubert Hurkacz in 2020-2023, and Jannik Sinner in 2024. If you are loving this video, subscribe to our channel and help us reach 5,000 subs by month's end. Canada Open. The Canada Masters holds a unique distinction among all professional tennis tournaments. It's the only Masters 1000 event that moves locations every year. This alternating system between Toronto and Montreal creates a tournament with a split personality, 2 distinct identities, and challenges that no other event faces. The tournament's history stretches back to 1881, making it one of the oldest tennis tournaments in the world, and the oldest professional tennis tournament in North America still played in its original country. Originally called the Canadian Open, it predates most Grand Slam events and has survived through 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and countless changes in professional tennis. The alternating venues create unique challenges for players. Toronto's National Bank Open venue offers different court speeds, altitude, and crowd atmosphere compared to Montreal's IGA Stadium. Players must adapt not just to different conditions each year, but to completely different environments, making consistency at this tournament particularly difficult. Ivan Lendl dominated the 1980s with 6 titles, proving his adaptability across different eras and conditions. Andre Agassi proved his hard-court mastery in the 1990s with 3 victories. Rafael Nadal turned Canadian tennis into his personal showcase with 5 titles in 2005, 2008, 2013, 2018, and 2019, using his relentless baseline game and heavy topspin forehand to overwhelm opponents in the August heat. Novak Djokovic won 4 times in 2007, 2011, 2012, and 2016, while Roger Federer claimed the title in 2004 and 2006. Recent winners include Daniil Medvedev in 2021, Pablo Carreño Busta in 2022, Jannik Sinner in 2023, Alexei Popyrin in 2024, and Ben Shelton shocking everyone in 2025. Cincinnati Masters. The Cincinnati Masters, officially known as the Western and Southern Open, occupies perhaps the most pressure-filled position in professional tennis as the final Masters 1000 event before the US Open. This unique timing creates dynamics that separate Cincinnati from every other tournament on the professional tour. The tournament's origin traces back to 1899, making it the oldest professional tennis tournament in the United States still played in its original city. Originally held at various Cincinnati area country clubs, the tournament found its permanent home at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio in 1979. Held in August, typically the week before the US Open, Cincinnati is the most crucial tournament for Grand Slam preparation. The conditions, fast, hard courts in summer heat and humidity, closely mirror what players will face in New York, making Cincinnati performances often predictive of US Open success. The 1980s belonged to Mats Wilander with 4 titles. The 1990s saw Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi winning 3 times each. Here's the crazy part. Rafael Nadal, despite his incredible career and 22 Grand Slam titles, only has 1 Cincinnati title in his entire Masters 1000 collection. This tournament was his kryptonite, with the fast conditions never quite suiting his game. Roger Federer won Cincinnati 7 times, in 2005, 2007, 2009, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2014, and 2015, more than any other player. Recent champions include Borna Coric in 2022, Jannik Sinner in 2024, and Carlos Alcaraz in 2025. Paris Masters. The Paris Masters serves as the final Masters 1000 event of the tennis season and holds unique significance as the last opportunity for players to secure their positions for the ATP Finals. This timing creates pressure and drama that no other Masters 1000 tournament can match. The tournament takes place at the Accor Hotel's arena in Paris. This indoor venue transforms into one of tennis's most atmospheric settings for the season finale. The November timing makes it crucial for ATP Finals qualification, with players knowing their season-ending championship hopes might depend entirely on their Paris performance. The indoor hard courts favor big servers and aggressive players, creating a different dynamic from the outdoor tournaments that dominate most of the season. Stefan Edberg won the first Masters Series Paris in 1990. Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras dominated the 1990s with 2 titles each, while Marat Safin won 3 titles in 2000, 2002, and 2004. The modern era belongs to Novak Djokovic with 7 titles in 2009, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2019, 2021, and 2023. His 2013 victory secured the year-end #1 ranking, proving his ability to perform when everything was at stake. Other champions include David Nalbandian in 2007, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 2008, Andy Murray in 2016, Karen Khachanov in 2018, Daniil Medvedev in 2020, and Alexander Zverev in 2024. So the next time you watch a Masters 1000 event, remember what you're witnessing: tennis professionals proving their greatness across 9 distinct battlegrounds where legends are born and the future of tennis is written. If you want to know more about the history of Grand Slams, watch our next video here.